Do you struggle to choose colors for your quilt projects? I have a trick. Today we're going to talk about monochromatic color palettes. Hi, I'm Andy from True Blue Quilts, and over the last 15 years as a long arm quilter, pattern designer, and instructor, I've developed an eye for color. Yes, it is kind of a sense of, well, do you like it or not? But there are some theories behind choosing colors, and we can focus on just one color with our monochromatic quilts and come up with some really beautiful designs. Let's take a look. We know that when you break down the word monochromatic, mono means one, chromatic means color. So you think that a one color quilt may be flat and boring, especially if you just use one fabric. But that's not what I do. I love scrappy quilts. So I bring in all the variations from light to dark and everything in between when I work with a monochromatic color palette. You may wonder why anyone would limit themselves to just one color when there are so many gorgeous fabrics out there. Well, there are several reasons. Perhaps you have a special friend who has one absolute favorite color. She always goes out dressed from head to toe in glorious shades of purple. So of course, if you made that friend a quilt, you would choose purple fabrics. Or maybe you've just redecorated your house and your gray, gorgeous, calming living room needs a pop of color. So you might want to make a red or a turquoise quilt to throw over the back of the couch and really add that finishing touch to your new home. Or maybe your stash is overflowing with too many browns or black fabrics. So you might want to choose a monochromatic design, bring down that stash, and free yourself up to go shopping for more new fabric. Those are all great reasons, but mine is I just simply like the challenge of designing within some parameters. So I choose one color for my quilts and then go crazy with the design details. So let's dive in to how I select a monochromatic color palette for my quilts. So I went to my stash and I pulled 3 different blue fabrics to illustrate our concept of light, medium, and dark. Those values are pretty easy to come up with in your overall design. You can find light fabrics, you know, when you put them next to other colors, you know how to build that light, medium, and dark. What we want to do is bring out those middle values, those medium lights and the medium darks, the things that would go in between these 3 colors to give us more variety in our quilt, whether it is a single block or the overall quilt design. So I went back to my stash and I found a wider selection of blue fabrics. And I'm just going to spread them out here so that we can start talking about what I would choose to put in a quilt. The first thing you want to do is get an overall sense of what you are working with in terms of light, medium, and dark. So I will switch these around and I'm going to bring the lights over here to this side. Keep my mediums going there and put the darks together on this side. So overall, the things that I have grabbed do tend to be a bit heavier on this dark side. This particular denim shade is a great medium value. When you start adding more white to your print, that puts it on the lighter side, and having more
black or dark tones of a color family, we'll put it on the dark side of the spectrum. So we're working with a gradient. We want to just build those stair steps from light to dark. Now you can see that this particular fabric is not playing well with the others. This would be a great builder for a whole quilt because you've got the white on the royal blue background that makes a great eye-catching print. You've got some other colors. You've got some lighter blue and some almost purple in this particular fabric, that even some green that you could bring in other shades for your quilt. But it really stands out against some of these other colors that I have selected. So I perhaps would not use this particular fabric with any of these others. You can see how a bold print may have sections of light and dark depending on how you cut the fabric. This one as well has a huge contrast. So depending on how you cut the fabric, you may get a light section or a dark section. Several of these fabrics do have more of a teal color story. So those would be great fabrics to put together and bring in some of the middle values of blue along with a darker navy, and you've got a great selection of fabrics to use in a monochromatic quilt. So you just play around and build. So I may keep that as my light. This is a medium light, a medium dark, and a dark. And you can see how all those fabrics would play together in one quilt.
Are you ready to dive into the fun world of monochromatic quilts? Pick up a copy of my book, Monochromatic Quilts, Amazing Variety. You'll find 11 different quilt patterns. You can use the colors that I have chosen for the samples or come up with your own fabulous color palette. I can't wait to see what you make. These patterns include a variety of techniques, from traditional piecing, such as the Blue River quilt, some applique patterns, such as the Orange Flowers, and even some paper piece designs. The Purple Angles quilt is a popular choice, even for quilters who have never tried paper piecing. You can find your copy of Monochromatic Quilts on my website, truebluequilts.com, or add it to your next Amazon order for speedy shipping. Have fun playing with just one color in your next quilt design.